Hello, and thank you for watching today. Before I start, special thanks to Greg Owen, and this presentation is dedicated to Maya Finholm, Tom Kipp, Katie Jacobs, John Shaw, and the staff of the United States Postal Service. Menudo's Run, or Come In Sweet 16, Your Time Is Up. Vigilance is the price of eternal youth, at the cost of identity in Latino pop. We think of a teen idol as a face on a poster, album cover, or a teen magazine. Freshness, bright eyes, gleaming teeth, gleaming hair. But what is the power of a specific face or faces, the power of a persona, versus the power of a master plan, an underlying template? For his boy band called Menudo, mastermind Edgardo Diaz tilted at the not-inconsequential matter of eternal youth, and hence eternal attractiveness to young girls, with a seemingly simple solution. Any member hitting 16 got bonged out. That forbidden age wavered a bit, guided in some cases, I think, by Diaz sweeping out potential backtalkers. This fresh faces strategy proved good for 32 years, 16 times 2, and some 20 million albums. This sliced out in their prime tactic did reveal shortcomings, however. Diaz's classic top-down do-as-I-say policy led to some fellows punching out before their time was up. The English-speaking market remained lost in translation, largely, even as sales throughout their Spanish and even Portuguese markets bounced between extremes. And indeed, two fresh-faced fellows aged out of the Diaz machinery, Ricky Martin and Draco Rosa, managed between them to redefine Latino pop in their own images and sell considerably more than 20 million albums. It isn't unusual for Svengalis to try early moves, a shakedown cruise or two, before striking the gusher. So it was for Edgardo Diaz, born in Panama, raised in Puerto Rico, moved across more water to Spain for medical school. In 1973, fate found him living next door to La Pandilla, a family singing group. La Pandilla would add and switch members between 1970 and their 1977 breakup, but they shot beyond mere stardom to provoke, throughout the Spanish-speaking world, a mass hysteria similar to Beatlemania. Diaz attached himself to his neighbors, working sound at first. By 1974, he'd tossed over medicine to become La Pandilla's manager, cementing the Spanish group's crucial commercial and emotional dedication to the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. La Pandilla's saga unfolded as the saga of many popular groups unfolded. Every year, everyone got a year older, and because the band members were roughly the same age as many of their fans, they observed milestones roughly together. La Pandilla shows, albums, TV appearances marked off birthdays, graduations, quinceañeras, and possibly even funerals. The band counted as extended family. But Diaz was not happy. Girls and boys became women and men, so singing ranges plummeted and songs had to be rearranged. The female singer always needed her own chaperone, lodging, and travel arrangements. So Menudo, a term for soup, a term for the adjective little, and a term for loose change, would be boys only, a practical point, and possibly a more sinister one. I'll circle back to that point. And every member turning 16 or 15, or in any case just slightly less than fresh-cheeked, out. Youth, as opposed to individual youths, would have primacy. And when time was up, I found what's apparently the farewell to Venezuela performance of René Ferret in the band 1979 to 1982, ages 12 to 15. And this unrolls like This Is Your Life, condensed, and we meet his family members one by one. Applause, applause. The girls scream. The entire quintet comes to perform Sueños, or in English, Dreams. Surprisingly, not a big production. René does his thing, but he doesn't scream or shout or buckle down to his knees. No cape, no trophy. He's leaving, but he's leaving being part of the whole. The master plan must be appeased, and with it, the master. I don't think everyone got a formal friendly send-off. The Wikipedia article lists 34 Menudo members over 32 years, averaging 1.0625 members over each calendar year. One got thrown out for growing too tall. One had a weight problem that didn't answer to a Diaz-imposed diet. Some of the exes tried their luck at their own bands, and of course Ricky Martin and Draco Rosa, band members in the 1980s. Martin sold 70 million albums worldwide, Rosa not quite so much, but Diaz, I'm betting, shook his head at what he let walk out the door. In terms of money, at least. Propriety requires me to mention that, yes, sadly, Edgardo Diaz stands accused, along with some other higher-ups in the Menudo administration, of abusing the boys. I could not find any sign he's ever stood trial, but several of the former members say it happened. The abuse and those accusers include René Ferret, the one who got the send-off in Venezuela. Diaz denies everything, and I wish I knew who to believe. On a personal note, I wasn't expecting to fall in love with Menudo. I found the Diaz youth gimmick, or should we call it a policy, intriguing. I found investigating a teen act who sings in a language I admittedly don't speak beyond a few words and phrases a pleasing puzzle to ponder. I struggled through lyrics. I couldn't keep their names straight and felt bad about that, even though, according to Diaz, I wasn't supposed to keep their names straight over the long run. I contemplated the comic, sad, and even darkly menacing aspects of the endeavor. On the way through, though, the energy, the pop bounce laced oddly with mild rock abrasives, what they put over as sincerity from innocence, however regimented, however forced, however ultimately unreal, the sincerity or the innocence. Well, I don't think I was worn down. I think I was won over. I got off the phone with a good friend, a lady sitting inside the Mopop collection as part of the Riot Girl movement down in Olympia. She laughingly calls herself totally white, Scandinavian, Nordic. It's true. But she remembers loving Menudo and looking forward to Menudo on the TV or the radio. She remembers asking her totally white mother to make her the Menudo soup and not understanding what tripe was. And in her pleasure, I find a pleasure of the boys, whoever they were. I find a fraction of the pleasure in her pleasure. And I'd like to stay on the pleasure, but I'm obliged to play out the metaphor. The band fell apart, leaving Diaz with the name which he refused to allow anyone, even bands of the alums, to use. And of course, the fountain of youths ran dry. Diaz grabbed the hands of time to refuse the biological clock at sweep to the left. 32 years and 34 boys, now men. An amazing run. But the clock hands cut into Diaz's hands, leaving him figuratively defeated and bleeding. And given 34 men, once boys, caught in the sweep, commodified, disinherited, and possibly much worse than that, by Diaz fiat. I wonder if the mastermind was the only one who bled.